All right, welcome back. We'll show you some more footage remembering Hurricane Katrina in a few minutes, but let's go back to the phone lines. HTV, welcome to the program. Go ahead, please.
Hello, Martin.
Yes.
How you doing tonight?
Good. How you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. I was kind of listening to what y'all was saying about them hurricanes, you know.
Yeah.
I got a good one for you tonight. The Corps engineer just finished around New Orleans last week, I think. And on Channel 6 tonight, they said, well, that ain't up to par. After they done studied it for 2 years, now it's complete. Look at Channel 6. You're going to get the statement what they said. I guess they're going to run out of work. So that it won't be up to par. I don't know. I think it was $2 billion or something like that.
Right.
Around New Orleans. That goes to show you how the Corps operates.
Mm-hmm.
They said it was good 2 years ago when they started this project for a 100-year storm. Now they say it's not up to par for a 100-year storm. They're finished now.
Right.
It's a money racket.
It is. It always has been with the Corps.
And somebody needs to do something about it.
Well, people have tried, but you know what? The Corps seems to be sort of untouchable, don't they?
Well, I mean, our politicians need to go up there and do something about this.
Yeah, look,
you know?
You're preaching to the choir here for sure. I agree with you.
And just like back in Homer, y'all got we got an election coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all lost that 1 cent sales tax for y'all levies. Y'all ought to put it up on this election. Tax yourself 1 cent like we paying LaFouche. Mm-hmm. They'll give y'all extra money. I mean, 1 cent for your protection of your home is nothing. Half of them don't have insurance.
Yeah, I remember that well because we actually advocated that on the station for full transparency. But the problem they had when the 1 cent came out was because it didn't have a sunshine provision on. Nobody
all right,
knew.
Let's put a sunset on it.
Nobody knew. I mean, sunset said sunshine, but nobody knew when it was gonna end. So it could have went on and on and on. So I agree, they got to have an end.
Well, here's your chance, Mr. Claudette, and you're a man they listen to. That's your 1 cent sales tax. We still pay sales tax. I live in North Lafourche, and we pay sales tax to support levies in South Lafourche.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the parish-wide. I mean, it's a thing you got to do together.
No,
y'all people ought to get together.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. But it didn't seem.
That's a good time to put it on a ballot.
Yeah, it didn't seem to work, and a lot of people just don't want taxes. They don't trust that the taxes will be spent wisely. So it's always a flip of the penny, so to speak, to see which side it's going to land on.
Believe me, I don't like to pay taxes neither, but I have to live and I need protection.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people need to think of that. That 1 cent of sales, and half of them don't have insurance. They're dependent on FEMA, and that FEMA liable to run out because the way this country's gone, FEMA might run out. Look how fast FEMA's over there, though.
Yeah, oh yeah, we knew that though.
You got a different president, and you got a different man running this organization now.
Well, you got
our president said he didn't know they had a hurricane till 5 days later under Bush's administration.
Yeah, we got more electoral votes in that area.
Exactly. And you don't have a Democratic governor like Blanco was.
Well, there's probably enough blame to go around in all these emergency situations.
Well, I mean, how you'd have felt if Obama would have flew over that place, looked down at them people, and said, well, these are Republican states, so I'm not going to help them. He didn't do that.
Well, he sure didn't help us for the oil spill, did he?
I mean, that was out of his hands.
It was?
Yeah, it was. What you wanted him to do? Tell me exactly what you wanted President Obama to do.
Let me ask you, why is it out of his hands for the oil spill and it's not out of his hands for hurricane relief?
Hurricanes are an act of nature. That oil spill was an act of man and companies.
Okay.
Who are you going to blame for putting that hurricane out in the Gulf?
So you okay with the moratorium that basically shut down?
No, I'm not. But I tell you what, I'm not. I don't agree with him on that.
All right, I'm just making sure.
I tell you what, if our politicians would be smart, they were making a moratorium on safety. And we got to shut our oil wells down for 6 months.
All right, but let me get back to our disagreement. What did he, tell me what he did for the oil spill. What did President Obama do that nobody else could have done?
Well, the companies had that all in hand. I mean, he sent the Coast Guard. I mean, what else could he do? You wanted him to get out there with a rag and clean it?
Let me tell you.
Look, I don't agree with everything he does.
No, but let me tell you what the president did do. He got a $20 billion fund set aside, and there are a bunch of people in Louisiana that still have not been paid. You know why?
A lot of them have been paid, though.
A lot of them have not been paid. The vast majority have not and never will be paid, but the ones in Florida and Mississippi and Alabama have been treated the same proportionately to the ones in Louisiana where the oil spill actually made the biggest impact.
I agree with that, but a lot of them have been paid. A lot of them was fraud, like this man was just saying.
That is true. Some were fraud, but they got a lot of people that were not fraud.
What percentage? I read it in the paper how many percent was fraud. But look at what had been paid.
Well, I mean,
if you got your paperwork, you got paid.
That's not true.
Why? A lot of them had paperwork that didn't get paid?
I can tell you 80% of the people that file claims legitimately in this parish and Lafourche Parish have not been paid.
Now, hold on. All right, you're going to file paperwork. You got a $100,000 business, but you're going to file paperwork for $250,000?
No, you heard me say the word legitimately. That means they filed by the book.
Well,
now if somebody did it fraudulently, then they're wrong and they ought to be prosecuted.
You're going to have that in anything.
Well, I know, but I'm just telling you, they didn't come through for the people in this area. They still haven't to this day come through.
Well, that's an oil company. That's altogether different.
This
was an act of nature, just like an earthquake or something.
I'm just proving the point where you said that people were taking care, but I'm telling you they were not. So I can't sit here and let you say it when I know I've been covering the story. I've seen the people packing the auditorium.
I read the paper. I mean, I know a lot of them have been paid.
I ain't reading the paper. I'm going to the ground where these people live. They have not been paid. Trust me on that one. Trust me on that one.
A lot of them agreed.
Well, some of them, not a lot of them.
It's just like FEMA. When Betsy came through here, I remember my daddy and all. They didn't worry about FEMA. They, like you said, pull their bootstraps up. They wasn't worried about the government.
Right.
And they worked on each other's houses until we had a house.
Amen. That's true.
That's the way it ought to be.
I agree with you.
But
that's something we agree on.
People depend too much on the government.
It's called entitlement.
And Social Security is not an entitlement. I pay Social Security every week.
No, you paid into that.
Right.
Right.
That is not. I hate that when them Republicans and them say that is an entitlement.
No,
it is not.
It's not an entitlement.
SSI, welfare, and all this other stuff, Medicare, Medicaid, that's all entitlements. But Social Security and Medicare is not an entitlement. I got check stubs here I can show you where they cut Medicare and Social Security every week out of it.
Okay.
You pay for that.
Well, I appreciate your point. I got to grab some other lines.
All right, Martin. Thank you. You're doing a good job.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Very good job.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. HTV, welcome to the program. Go ahead, please.
HTV, welcome to the program. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. We from Lafourche Parish. We worked for BP and we didn't get paid.
Okay, yeah.
And we did a claim and everything, and we still didn't get paid.
Right, that's my point. My point I'm trying to make is I know a bunch of people that have not been paid.
Yeah. And a lot of people around my neighborhood never got paid.
I mean, there's a lot of attorneys that have been handling these, and what they did was Feinberg came back and told all these attorneys, he said, put all of your stuff in groups, and we'll be able to take care of it in groups with settlements. But the attorneys did that. They still haven't been paid. So it's a dog and pony show with Mr. Feinberg and the federal government. They don't intend to pay. They were just stretching people out till this thing got tired. And I've always said that. And if people,
yeah, just like I called because of that man that just hung up the phone.
Right, right.
He don't really know what he's talking about, because a bunch of people in my neighborhood, in our area, they still fighting for that.
Yep.
They work for the oil spill. They still owed money.
Well, and I know for a
We
fact,
still owe
'cause-
money for the oil spill.
and I know for a fact because I have talked to hundreds of people who have not been paid.
Yeah.
And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I don't think a lot of people are ever going to see money.
A lot of people won't get paid.
I mean, there was a lot of people that made millions and millions of dollars, but there was a good marketing campaign in the front end to get everybody excited, but it sure was put on the back burner.
Yeah. Okay, well, I just wanted to say that and thank you, and you're doing a good job.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate
Okay,
it.
bye.
HTV, welcome to our program. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Good evening, Martin.
Hey, how you doing tonight?
Just fine. Martin, don't you know a certain individual at least that had their paperwork lost 3 times that they spoke on your program?
Yep.
You know,
do.
they submitted it 3 times at
Yep.
least?
I do. Very familiar with that.
Okay, so...
How many times do you have to lose it before you get paid?
Exactly. So your caller really doesn't know what he's talking about. And Martin, as far as Feinberg, I think he is a government appointee to be the overseer of that. In fact, he's just a government bureaucrat.
That's right.
Working in the private sector. And if you remember, about 3 or 4 years ago, I told you, or however long the oil spill's been, if you like the way they handle TARP, you would love the way they're going to handle the BP funds.
You did tell me that. I do recall that conversation. And I really don't like the way they handled it. I mean, it was, they got people so excited. And when he came down, I remember saying it when he made that first talk. I'm going, this guy sounds like Mr. Haney on Green Acres. He's selling these people, and people were buying into it. And then all of a sudden, you know, he was a master at deflection and everything else, and he just didn't he didn't come through like he said he would.
And I don't know that we can really blame BP for that.
No, I don't think we can.
Because BP supposedly put the money in a trust fund.
Yeah, and somebody called up one night and said BP's telling them how to spend that money. That's bull. I mean, once the government gets the money, there's no telling what's going to happen with it.
Well, Martin, you know, I'm going to have to watch Channel 6 News tonight.
Yeah.
But, again, I don't think the caller knows what he's talking about. That work in New Orleans was never meant to be to withstand a 100-year storm. I think it's set for a Category 3 or something thereabouts. It's like Morganza to the Gulf is never designed to be there to handle a 100-year storm.
Yeah, Morganza is definitely for, I think it's a 1 and 2. I think you could take a 1 and 2.
Category 3. I'm not sure. They're talking about doing one stage and then coming back later and doing another stage.
I think they're trying to get it to handle a 3, but all bets are off from a 3 to a 5.
Right. So I mean, a 100-year storm would be like a Category 5 storm,
Right.
and the Corps of Engineers has never done work in New Orleans to stop a Category 5 storm surge.
I wouldn't sign off on a Category 5.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I wouldn't sign off. I think it's going to probably end up being a 1 and a 2.
Yeah, so, I mean, to say that the Corps of Engineers is saying they did something that they never did that I'm aware of, you know, I mean, we need to be careful and put blame where it is.
Well, there's
and the
plenty-
Corps of Engineers
plenty
can't
enough
do
blame
anything
to-
unless they get the federal funds.
Yeah, but there's plenty enough blame to blame the Corps over the years for a lot
no doubt.
lot of things, for
But
sure.
blame them for what they're guilty for,
Well,
but
that's
not for
true.
what they're not.
You make a good point, for sure.
Okay, you have a good night,
All
Mark.
right, thank you. Appreciate the
Okay,
call.
bye-bye.
Yeah, we all right? We have to take a break. We all right? Okay. HTV, welcome to the program. Go ahead, please.
Hello, Martin.
Yes.
Hey, I had to change the subject, but what you seen that on the news that they say that the guy that killed his son up there in Thibodeau, they want for psychiatrists, so he can meet with 2 psychiatrists.
Yeah.
I was like, man, the man knew what he was doing. He don't need no psychiatrist.
Yeah, I know. I guess we're going to have to sit through that one. It's just going to be more of the process that the city of Thibodeau and the viewers that have followed are just going to have to sit through until they go through it. But it's not going to be one of those things that you snap your fingers and it's over. It's going to take some time to do this.
Right. It's like the Obama situation with these people, you know, not getting their money paid, you know, for the whole I feel for these people that never received their money. But I'm going to tell you, I always said this, if it would be for that oil spill, Obama would have never came down here. Nobody would have came down here because to them we don't exist.
Right. Oh, and that's obvious. And he didn't come down real quick. I mean, I'll give everybody their due. George Bush missed Hurricane Katrina when he woke up and realized the damage. He acted, but President Obama wasn't down. How long it took him before he came down? I'm trying to remember. Jay, you remember? Wasn't it almost 5 weeks after he came down?
Yeah.
I mean, so.
I mean, we had one mistake in the Gulf, and yet all these coal mines, look how many people get killed out of that. Why they don't try to do nothing for that, to try to see if they could do coal mining a lot better.
Now let me just say this to you and to the viewers. I interviewed Ted Falgout, who was an integral part of Fushon and all that. Of course, he's retired from that and he's in the private sector now. And he's on a committee that's actually been working with the Obama administration on getting people permits. And he told me some encouraging news today that he said in about a year to a year and a half, by the way they're helping these companies do the permitting, talking about this committee, not the Obama administration, that in a year and a half it should be running full tilt again. And from talking to him, I sense that there could be a little mini boom coming again. So that to me was good news.
Right, it is good news. That's right. That's what we need. You know, we can't send all these rigs overseas. We got a lot of oil sitting right there in the Gulf.
He also told me that there's going to be 2 other projects that, just like Fushon has a big facility, there'll be one in the western Gulf and one a little east. And so there'll be 3 major facilities in the future. So there's going to be a lot of action in the Gulf of Mexico.
Right. Now, as far as I know, as right now, Port Fushon Beach is still closed. I don't know if you knew that.
No.
It's still closed, that.
Okay.
All right, Martin, you have a good night.
Thank you very much. And I'll get Jay to give me an update on that. HTV, welcome to the program. Go ahead, please.
Hello?
Yes, you're on. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I just wanted to say, I thought they had said a while back, a couple of years back, they had showed on TV about President Bush riding over Louisiana in an airplane. I thought they had showed that on TV.
Oh, they did. I just said that. I just said he missed Hurricane Katrina, and President Obama missed the oil spill. They were both late. Yeah, President Bush flew over.
People make mistakes.
No, but they are. But President Bush, I'm just trying to be fair. I don't want to say that one president
that's
made a
exactly
mistake.
what I want.
Yeah.
That's why I like when Jimmy going to be back on there. Jimmy is fair,
and
he doesn't agree with all kind of negative things about people, because everybody got a fault. And when you look at a plank in somebody else's eye, you got a big, in your eye, you have a big log in somebody else's eye, you got a log in your eye.
The thing is, with President
because the
Bush,
earlier caller that call in, and I don't like to call in because all this negative talking. We have so much going on in the world today. It's not time for all of this.
Now, which caller is
when this guy call in, is when he called in and said something about he made a joke.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about. I don't want to say it.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You don't do that. You don't do that. I could make a joke about him. There's jokes in the Homer Daily Courier. He could read that, read those. You just don't do that. We all human beings. And God is real, and Jesus is alive, and he's on his way back. And all this just need to be cut out, saying all kind of evil matter things about people. Well, everybody in this world got a problem.
He's definitely hearing you scolding him right now, so I promise you he's hearing you.
And I know he's hearing. I mean, I could make a joke about him, but I wouldn't do that. Sometimes he call in, he doesn't even know what he's talking about. And sometimes I heard one, I'm not going to call who was on one time, he said something and they said, we don't know what you're talking about. He couldn't even explain himself. But I wouldn't say anything about him. You just don't make jokes about people.
No.
You just don't do that. I don't care who you are. I didn't vote for President Bush, but I tell you what, I always did like him. And I love to hear him talk still today. You just got to get away from these things, saying all evil manner things about people. Jimmy will not agree on all kind of evil stuff and all kind of negative talk. Jimmy always tell him, that's your opinion. That's why I love to hear him.
Jimmy is a very fair person.
You don't think I know that?
No,
He's the fairest. You know what they said in the story? He's the fairest of them all.
And he's nice.
And I love to hear Jimmy.
And he's a nice guy.
I love to hear him.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate your call. Bye-bye. Okay, Jay, we're going to roll some video. We got to take a break. Okay, we're all going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to bring you back 6 years to the anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. And where we're going to be at, Jay, on that? Boudreaux Canal. Yeah, Lake Boudreaux. We'll be by Lake Boudreaux. We'll be right back.